Hey, this week before I leave out here, I want to see if I could change. Good morning, and welcome to another edition of Real Talk Live. I'm your host, Professor Tinker. We have an interesting conversation this morning. We're going to have Lorraine Duvalier in studio with us. She's the Assistant Director of Social Services, and we're going to be talking to her after the break, to get a better understanding on what they do. But also, she's here really to talk about Child Protection Month. But we will engage her and where the populace can get a good undertaking on the benefits of contacting social services and what are they doing over there? I think we had a side conversation, and I think she said they got 300 of them, 300 social service workers, and I was like, 300? I was like, where are these people? But she said they're spread over the entire island, so we'll talk about that. But anyhow, I woke up late this morning. Woke up at 6:30. My dumb phone was decided to die on me. The alarm didn't go off, so woke up at 6:30. Flight leaves at 7:10. And I was not in the airport, folks. I was at home. Luckily, I was in Hollywood, so the drive wasn't that bad. But thank God for checking in online and TSA pre-clearance. So I could have just ran into the airport, blasted through the VI section of security, and I made my flight. I think everyone was already on the plane. I think I got there the flight left 7:10. I got there about 8 o'clock. 10 minutes still. I was like, oh man, if I miss this one, forget it. I wasn't even trying to take another plane. I would have just called out, but luckily I made it there. And after all this frustration, woke up at 6:30. I was so tired, my eyes are burning. Finally make it through security, got on the plane, and I asked the lady for some tea. On JetBlue flight 1893, which I have to take care of this. I'm going to take care of this, people. She said, no, I can't give you any tea because the flight is short and I'm busy doing all these things. So I gave her the hand. I said, ma'am, I don't want to hear it. I take this flight every Monday and I always get tea. All the stuff you just told me, you could have gotten my tea already. But I'm going to take care of that for you because I'm going to make a nice complaint. Probably going to get a free ticket out of it, but I'm going to make that complaint. So you're going to give me this tea or not? No. I'll just bring you the rules and regs. Now, when you sit in seat 1, it's a $25 upgrade seat. So I had a few white people in seat 2, and they had 2 of their kids in seat 25. So this lady, the mother of these 2 white kids went up and said, hey, could my kids come up front because they're far from me? So she freely upgraded them to 2 $25 upgrade seats to sit on the side of me, and all I was asking for was a cup of tea. So you see how that's discrimination right there, Claire? So now when I write my report and I put that in there, JetBlue's going to say, sorry, Mr. Tink, I know you fly all the time. I'm going to give you a $200 voucher, and we're going to make sure we have free tea for you. Because that's what's going to happen. That's going to be the end result of that. So I'm going to have to put that complaint in there. I try to avoid stuff like this, but I'm a magnet to stuff like this. But anyhow, when I left on Friday, I was very happy because last week, Monday, I announced that I had some problem at the airport with Customs and Border Protection. Alright? And I said I had 2 agents that had, gave me a hard time. And when I got there Friday, you wouldn't believe what happened. I requested to speak to the commanders at Customs and Border Protection, and I told them that I was going to do this congressional. I just wanted to put them on notice. And he was delightfully to tell me that the guy I was about to complain on, I don't know what happened between Monday and Friday, but he was sent back to the U.S. So now I'm down to 1. I got 1 left down there. His name is Agent Castro. I'm working on getting Castro out of here. So folks, Bahamians, if you have issues at that airport and these U.S. Customs officials are treating you bad, you make sure to contact us at here at More 94. Actually, you know what? You can email us. I'm starting a petition. Professor Tinker Real Talk Live at gmail.com. Professor Tinker realtalklive@gmail.com, because we're gonna fix these problems. We're gonna fix these inefficiencies. We're gonna fix these disrespectful people, and that's at any level, even on the Bahamian side. We're gonna fix this. Now, when I was coming through immigration this morning, I saw that they have these new little things where you could check in with your passport. You could scan the passport, check in, take a picture, but no one's using them. Everyone's joining the Bahamian custom immigration line, and no one's going to the other side. So I asked the guy, how come no one's using them? He said, well, they don't like to use it. I said, you should be pointing over there, getting them used to that, because those things had to been a pretty penny to buy them. I think there's about 3 or 4 of them there. So, you know, say that again?
It's really quick, efficient.
It's just, yeah, it's quick and efficient, but people are scared of computers. And the other thing I observe also that I'm going to be hacking on, you know, everyone's screaming and talking about this Freedom of Information Act. Freedom of Information Act. Bring it to us. We need it now. Have anyone ever noticed when a government official give you a business card? It says joeschmo@hotmail.com, joeschmo@gmail.com, joeschmo@yahoo.com. How are you going to have a Freedom of Information Act in place where government workers in some of the highest office are using private emails? That was the problem, the big problem that caused Hillary to lose. You can't, because how, if you're going to have freedom of information and you want to request copies of email records that these guys did government business with, but on a private server, they have to use government service, government emails, where everything is recorded and everything is kept. But if I'm the national security minister, and one of them does have it because he gave me his business card, joeschmo@yahoo.com, and he's sending sensitive stuff around in his personal email, how anyone can request a Freedom of Information request from the national security, the minister of national security, right? If he's on Yahoo, Hotmail, Gmail, you can't. Because even if anyone here, even government workers or government officials contact Yahoo, Yahoo's probably going to say, I'm sorry, I can't release this information. That's a private email. So, you know, we're demanding all these big things at these high levels because we hear about these things and they sound so sophisticated. But if we really want freedom of information to work, all government employees, all government agencies need to be online, need to be using government-issued email addresses, which is on a government server. You can't have private emails doing official government business. And I would say one of the main reasons why they do it is because you get to hide a lot of stuff. You get to hit the delete button. You know, that's the only thing I could come up with. Because for the life of me, I don't even know why anyone in government is generating paper receipts. You know? I need a police record. Let me go, I gotta look in the big blue book. I need a copy of birth certificate. Let me go dig in the big blue book. Yeah, let's get some records from the courts. Hold on 1 second, someone ripped the page out. Information's lost, nolly prosecute, case is gone. So listen, you know, we have a lot of updating to do, but I must say this. One of the major reasons why inefficiency work and why upgrades take long, because people make money that way. In a frustrated, chaotic system, people make money. It's a profitable situation. Because let me tell you something, folks. If there is efficiency in this country, if we could be efficient, it eases the burden of doing business on you. It eases the operation on the average citizen, and things are more productive. You don't get frustrated when you go to the driver's license office and you're taking a month to get your driver's license. You don't get frustrated when you're trying to get a passport. You don't get frustrated when you're doing anything that's government regulated. If there's a little more efficiency, but it's like a lot of people in the system are afraid to use computers. To see computers record everything. They track everything. You can't hide from what you put in that computer. You can't hide when you send something on that government email, because it's being backed up, archived somewhere. But all the, you know, it's almost like a mobster operation. You know, you used to watch mobster movies. They never want to speak on a cellular phone because they know it's recorded. I'll call you from a payphone. It's almost the same thing here. I'll send you an email from yahoo.com. Or I'll send you an email from google.com, but I'm the Minister of National Security. And even for a long time, most government employees, even up to the prime minister, have Hotmail accounts. And some of them have government accounts now, I see, but yet they still use private emails to do business on behalf of the government. And that right there is a huge problem. That right there is a security problem. Because what is the discretion on how these people are using these private emails? Or should the Attorney General subpoena all private emails and go through them to see if anything inappropriate has been sent in these emails? So these are some of the things we should be looking at and discussing if we're trying to be this first world country, which I hear so many people continue to talk about, not realizing that colonial countries will never be first world countries because they were designed to always be developing countries and third world countries. That's the way they were set up. That's kind of the way they were set up. You're going to be a first world country, you better start producing something or manufacturing something. If you don't even making toilet tissue, you want to get in the conversation about being a first world country when you're not making toilet tissue? But at any rate, we're about to go to this break and tell you our sponsors. My voice is a little draggy because that JetBlue lady didn't give me tea this morning, but I'm going to take care of her when I get back. So I'm going to write the email before I leave. Probably going to get a free ticket out of it. But Real Talk Live was sponsored to you by Superwash, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Burger King, the Air Conditioner Depot. Now, if I was on Bahamas Air, I think they would give me free tea because I think they do give free tea first thing in the morning. But after the first flight, they give nothing unless you ask for some water. So I wouldn't have to complain on Bahamas Air. So Bahamas Air, thanks for giving free tea, but you could at least give water and some chips on the 30-minute flight because all the other airlines do that. Just saying, you guys need to work on that. Alright, the Air Conditioning Depot, BTC, National Workers Cooperative Credit Union, Virgo Car Rental, Water and Sewage Corporation, Storm Free Windows, Bayman Brewery Company Limited, Wendy's, Marco's Pizza, Popeyes, Paisley Cosmetics, experience a Paisley difference. And please stay tuned because we're going to have a conversation with Laureen Duvalier, who's going to come here and talk on what she can talk on. So she ain't throwing nobody under the bus today. We'll be right back. Take care. Yeah,
man, they're gonna give you tea. Hey, Dubai.
I get tea all the time. I get tea all the time.
Who drinks tea any other time but in the morning?
Exactly.
An Englishman.
Exactly. The lady, she was.
That's bad.
Yeah. And they gave the good tea, the Dunkin' Donut tea. So I'm gonna take care. One thing with JetBlue, if you complain, they take care of you. American Airlines, they take care of you. Bahamas Air, they tell you need to be late past 9 hours for them to even talk to you. So that's in the, seriously, if you like an hour late, you're not getting anything from. But you got to be 9 hours late to get $100. Then after that. adjusting here because I missed my tea on flight 1893, JetBlue Airlines. So I haven't even had tea yet, so I got to focus on that tea. That's one thing the colonists instill in their Africans in the colony. Drink tea, you know. Tea will keep you going. Like for example, in Jamaica, I think the life expectancy for an African in Jamaica during the days of sugar was about, it was like 27 years, 21 or 27, because they worked from sun up to sundown, you know, in the plantation, chopping cane, and that's why, you know, people say, man, why do Jamaicans speak so rough? Why they act so rough? And they always talk about beating people up. It's because in that island, from 20, the life expectancy was from 21 to 27. And it's so funny we're talking about social services. The psyche of those Africans that would have been in Jamaica, it actually trickled down. And part of the Jamaican accent and the way they talk so fast was actually almost a language of code. To speak so broken that the white overseer wouldn't understand what they're saying. And then you have this group called the Maroons that rebelled against the plantation owners and around to the hills of in Jamaica and to the mountains. That's where you get that that mountain coffee or Blue Ridge Mountain Coffee, Blue Mountain Coffee, you know. But quite interesting. Anyhow, we're gonna be talking to Lorraine today. Also, I want to say, keep forgetting that that roundabout. That roundabout somewhere there, over there by the Texaco gas station. I saw that cop again today. You know, the traffic cop who drives his own personal car with no reflective vest. For your own safety, ask Mr. Greenslade, Commissioner Greenslade, please get a safety vest. And also, you need backup, man. One person cannot direct traffic, a major roundabout like that, with one guy, because your back's turned and cars are coming in all directions. I don't want to see you get run over, traffic cop, but request backup, man. My lord. Even if someone in khaki has to do it, you need backup, guy. So anyway, let's bring in Miss Lorraine Duvalier, and she's already disclosed that she does not have any of that Duvalier money. So don't call asking for any money, even though she works for social services. I think the Duvalier family had about almost 500 million in Haiti posted away, but she's claiming today on Real Talk Live she ain't got the money, so please do your calls accordingly. Good morning, ma'am, and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Dr. T.
You got a nice smile, man.
Thank you.
That's working with social service. You guys got a smile. That's because that got to be a happy place.
Can I do that?
Explain into the mics a little bit more so to make sure we're hearing you. So listen, I know you came to talk to on Child Protection Month, but I don't know you from Eve. And don't be people say I don't know you from Adam, but you're a woman, so I'm going to say Eve.
Yeah.
So I got to get to figure you out a little bit. So just tell us, you know, introduce a little bit about yourself real quick, and we'll get into our conversation, if you don't mind.
Well, I've been working with the department since 1982, and I've worked at very many of the outreach centers, various divisions. But presently I'm working with the Family Services and Placement Division, and in that division we deal with the courts and family. We also deal with adoption. We also have under that division the domestic and violence counseling unit.
Okay, so you come under what ministry you
The
come
Department of Social Services, Ministry of Social Services and Community Development.
Okay. So that's almost a ministry all by itself.
Yes.
Okay. And you're the assistant director of social services.
Yes, we have quite a number of assistant directors there.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
And what Pacific area do you deal with?
That's the Family Services and Placement
Family
division.
Services and Placement.
Yes.
Family Services. And when you say placement is an adoption or?
Adoption, fostering.
Okay, and let's give a background about yourself. Where are you from in the Bahamas?
Well, I was born in New Providence.
Okay.
I was born to Cyril and Eloise Johnson. I have 7 siblings, and I'm the second oldest, and I have a happy childhood.
Right.
And so when we talk about persons who, children who've been abused, it hurts me because children are robbed of something very valuable.
At such an early age.
Irreplaceable.
So what was your last stint in what high school you would have went to?
I'm a Seventh-day Adventist.
Oh, you're Seventh-day Adventist, okay.
Yes, and I went to Bahamas Academy from third grade, and I graduated from there. I went to Adventist College.
What college you went to?
Union College in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Oh, Union College. That's pretty far.
Yes,
It's pretty cool.
And that's why I really don't like to travel.
Right. You see that couple you were there for 4 years.
Yeah.
See, that 4 years helped you out because you look so young. That coal
Well,
was good for your
thank you.
skin.
Thank you. Jeans too.
Yeah, and the jeans, but that coal,
Yeah.
you see, in this heat, man, this heat just tear your
Oh,
skin up.
Yeah, I don't like
So being a young lady from the Bahamas, you go to Lincoln, Nebraska. What you
Yes.
thought about that?
Well,
Very white back then, huh?
Yeah. It was a deliberate choice
Oh,
because
the deliberate choice,
yes,
okay.
because my thing was I'm from a black country.
Right.
I know how black persons think. I'm a black person.
Right.
And so let me go and see another side
Right.
of things.
You got
And that-
immersed
and
in
that
a
helped.
totally white culture,
Totally white.
underpopulated state,
And conservative, reserved.
cornfields.
Yes. The corn was good.
Right.
Yeah.
You probably was getting 20 corn for $1 up there, huh?
The corn was good.
Corn was good, eh?
Yeah.
Which one you like the most, yellow or orange?
Yellow.
Yellow?
Yeah.
Yellow's pretty good. Now white's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I'll give you a joke. I was driving through there on my way to Alaska in 2003. Drove from West Palm to Alaska, which is about 6,000 miles.
Why would you do something like that?
Well, the Army stationed me in Alaska, and I said, you know what? I'm going to drive it. I'm going to do it during the winter because I like adventure. So I bought a brand new Mercedes, an SUV, just for the trip.
Mhm.
Seriously, just for the trip because I had to find a car that's going to work up there because if not, I would have been screwed. So I bought an all-wheel drive. The last thing on my mind was to winterize. Well, they did winterize the car in Florida, but it wasn't really winterized, and I'll tell you this joke about that. So anyway, I get to Lincoln, Nebraska. Now my car says 93 high octane only for the Mercedes ML500. Still got the car today. Got to Lincoln, Nebraska, and I pull into the gas station because I'm like on fumes. I'm about to run out, and it said ethanol only. I'm like, what? It said ethanol.
Mhm.
I'm like, what is that? So I pull in the gas station. Man, you got any unleaded, super unleaded premium?
Mhm.
I said, we don't have that for like until the next state. I was like, well, I'm screwed then. He said, no, you could use this, but it burns real fast. So ethanol is the byproduct of the corn.
Uh-huh.
And I put that in there. It's 100% corn oil or gasoline.
Yeah.
But the funny thing about that is it takes more money to produce that than oil. That's the downside of it now, why the ethanol in the U.S. is not as it wasn't so excited as they thought initially because you still need heavy equipment which takes a lot of diesel to make this thing, which is so expensive. And then the side effect of the using ethanol is the fact that it condensates pretty fast. It generates water, so it messes up your vehicle.
Yeah.
It's the side, it's the deadline. I mean, it's the bad part about that. But
What I'd like to say about that was the difference though was you had a lot of kids there whose parents were farmers.
yes,
And we
yes,
looked down on that.
yes.
Those were the rich kids.
Oh, they definitely were the rich kids.
Those were the rich
Nebraska is one of the bread baskets of the United States when it comes to farming. You see, a lot of, especially, you see, and this, I'm so glad that you're in sociology because I think in the colonized countries, especially in the ones that were colonized by Britain, farming is looked down upon
Mhm.
because it shows a relation to the slavery days. Not realizing it's a multi-trillion-dollar industry. I mean, farming's big, you gotta eat. There's nothing wrong in growing things that you eat, but being forced to do it is something different, and I think Africans have been separated from that as yet. And that's the reason why there's no mass farming in the Bahamas. I think the Bahamas was really never an agriculture economy in the first place. So it's that's something that I think that's a little carries a little stigmata because it's looked down upon here compared to other countries. But at any rate, yeah. So I stopped there and that was ethanol. So I thought that was pretty interesting, but very different state from living in Florida. A lot of Native Americans in that state also. Did you run into any Native Americans?
Lincoln was a college town.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of elderly persons.
Right, but I'm saying just in the state of Nebraska alone, did you have a chance to visit any
A
reservations?
couple of them, no.
No
I
reservations?
visited a couple of the other states.
Oh, okay.
No,
So you didn't see any Indians?
no.
No bow and
Not too many.
arrows?
no.
So,
Okay.
but that time too, when you went, I mean, that would have been that year. I mean, I don't even think the diversity lottery was around that time. So you would have been in a mostly white place.
So there were 25 black students in
Wow.
the school, and that was when we had the highest enrollment.
Wow.
Was
So how was that for you? How did being in social work? How did you deal with that? As a
Well-
you know, and because you would have went to school for social work, right?
Well, I did psychology.
Psychology,
And
okay.
then got into social work.
Okay.
But it was very interesting, and right away you realize, well, okay, it was different because you didn't have, they weren't really racist like that,
Right.
and a lot of them came in from other places,
Right.
and it was, like I said, it was a college town.
You see any
Um,
Amish?
No.
No Mennonites? not this not the FLM, not Mennonite Knights.
No.
Mennonites, no Mennonites?
No, don't forget I went to that Adventist college.
No, but I'm saying, but around there,
no,
you didn't see any
no,
Mennonites?
no.
Yeah.
No. But you realize right away that definitely you were different.
You were different.
And you identify and you get patriotic, and if
Right.
you didn't appreciate where you came from, you did right away,
Right.
and you know, you establish your identity if you didn't have any,
Right.
and you got it really firm then,
Right.
and you moved on.
So you might have been a little red-skinned gal in the Bahamas, but when you got there, you were black as black.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Well, you could have played white when you were in the Bahamas,
no,
but when
I
you,
never
but
did.
I'm just
I
saying,
never
but when,
did.
I'm just joking with you, but when you went to the States and you saw that milky white,
Oh yeah.
you're like, oh, boy, yeah, I thought I was white. But
Yeah,
those people
and
are
I
really
always
white.
looked like I had it down, and of course they knew, and then my hair wasn't really,
Blonde hair,
straight
blue
like
eyes.
theirs. No. But
But
they,
you know,
they weren't prejudiced.
A lot of that area, especially Nebraska, Minnesota, North Dakota, a lot of their ancestry is from the Norwegian.
Mhm.
A lot of their background was Norwegian, because if you look at a lot of them, they're very tall. Tall, blonde hair, blue eyes,
Mhm.
big built.
And looked very plain.
Yeah, and they brought that tradition with them with
Yeah.
farming
Mhm.
to those regions. You know, a lot of them came from Germany and Norway, so they brought that rich history. But anyhow, let's come back to the Bahamas now. So you would have did a bachelor's or Bachelor of Science in Psychology?
Yes.
And
in psychology.
when did you make the next jump to social work?
Yes. Because once I started working with the department.
That's when you
have
came
to
back
be-
here? Okay.
Yes. Then
Uh-huh.
you have to be trained in social work.
Okay.
And psychology, you could hardly do anything with a bachelor's degree. Particularly what I wanted to do, which was counseling,
Right.
you're very limited with that.
But psychology just gave you the footing on understanding how
Yes.
the brain works a little bit.
Yes.
So that was an important concept.
Yes.
So you would have went back to school for?
Yes, I had to go back to COB.
Oh, you went back to
I
COB.
went back to COB, and I became upgraded what they call the advanced certificate in social work.
Okay.
And I took about a year.
All right.
Once I was done.
And then you basically came right back into the program.
Well, I never left because I got in the service.
Okay.
And so I worked and I studied.
Mm. So what made you want to get into this?
The thing about it is, I've always wanted to do social work, but didn't know that that was what it was.
From when?
From I was a child,
You-
about 14, I always liked helping persons. Persons would always gravitate to me. Well, what do you think about this? And just ask for my advice. And so I said I wanted to do something that would help persons and that would help to guide and to advise and to counsel.
So you were the neighborhood shaman.
Yes. And I loved it. And I loved it. And when I got into social work, I realized that this is what I always wanted
Right.
to do. I thought it would have been psychology, but I realized once I got into social work that that was it. And I was sorry that I didn't do it in school.
Right. So how were you with animals?
Don't
You was-
like them that much.
Don't like them that much. So you
No.
wasn't that caring for animals, but you like people.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome.
Right.
All right. So let's dig right into your department so we can jump right in. So you're the director of family and placement,
Assistant director.
assistant director.
Family services with individual domestic violence and counseling.
So define family services. What does it? Or before we jump there, what is the mission of your department?
The
You guys
mission-
have a mandated mission?
Yes, we have a mission to help persons, just as the name implies. It's a helping profession, and we try to assist persons in a timely, efficient, effective manner as possible.
Okay. And then, so you have the family services. Explain that part of your portfolio.
Okay, just as the name says, family,
Mhm.
we deal with families in crisis, families who need counseling, guidance, and we work very closely with the courts.
Mhm.
If they ask us for reports to assist in making decisions on what would be the best interest of a family, we do that.
Okay.
So mainly we deal with the courts.
And then placement.
Placement deals with adoption and foster placement. Persons who are interested in adopting children, we assist them fostering persons who have children in their care, who they would want foster care allowance from the government for, relatives, parents may be in prison, drugs. We assist those persons. We also assist persons if a mother is pregnant and she says, well, I want to give my baby up for adoption. We also help in situations like that.
Under the kids section where you say kids are being up for adopted, do you have a number on how many kids are in under your care for that's going to be now? Where these kids are housed, you guys take care of them?
Yes, we have child care institutions that's under the child placement and child care facilities division. We have various children's homes where
Okay.
those children are housed. We have the Elizabeth Estates Children's Home, the Ranford Home for Children, that's a private institution, but they work along with us
Right.
and our children are placed in their care. We have the Children's Emergency Hostel, that's also private, but they work along closely with us.
Any government facilities where kids are kept?
Yes, there's the Elizabeth Estates Children's Home,
Okay.
that's a government facility, and well, that's the main one.
Okay.
We have Colby House
Mhm.
for older boys,
Okay.
and we have other child care facilities, one in Luther. We have Burnley Lane Children's Home. So yes, we do.
Before we run to this break, how many kids would be in like what's the total number of kids coming under your guys'
No,
care?
I don't have that number.
You don't have,
I don't have
would
that.
you guess and tell us like how many? Roughly, I'm not gonna hold you to the number, I'm just curious.
I think it's about 8.
That's it?
It's about 8.
Only 80 kids out for adoption?
Now, a lot of them would be in child care institutions.
Uh-huh.
No, let me correct that. The children who come to us,
Right.
we don't have that many children who are available for adoption.
For example, oh wow, that's good.
We have a lot of children who are there because we're working with their parents.
Okay.
We're working along with them, trying to reunite them because
Right.
we realize that that's more important.
So you guys don't have a
Anything
bunch
else.
of American millionaires trying to adopt Bahamian kids?
We have some persons who are from other countries.
Are they millionaires?
Who have asked. Well, they're not millionaires, but
Wait,
you have some.
don't be
persons-
sending these kids to no broke people, you know.
No, because you
just
have to
messing
show
with you.
you have to show that you're able to take care of those children.
I'm just only asking that because you have all these Americans like Oprah and
No.
all these other people. They go to
No.
Africa and they pull
No.
these kids out. So you don't have the big
No, we don't.
rich and
we don't
famous
have that.
pulling out Bahamian kids.
No.
No? And last question before we go to break. What's the mentality of how does the Bahamian people see or look at these kids that are in these homes? I mean, how do they look at them? As
I'm glad you
rejects
asked
or
that.
abnormal or?
I'm glad you asked that because our foster program is basically non-existent.
Wow.
And since I began working with the department, I started working in the placement division and I noticed a mentality just as you said. And it's a mentality of non-acceptance.
We're gonna hold that thought there. We're gonna come back to that, and that's why you're on Real Talk Live, because I'm gonna dig deeper. I know your main mission is Child Protection Month, but we have listeners listening in the U.S. and a lot of listeners are tuning in now because they say, man, this Tinker guy took over the show and he's doing a good job. But it's only because of my experience in what I teach, poli-sci and criminal justice, that the questions are built in my brain to try to take out and extract the most I can take out of you to wrap my head around what you guys are actually doing. So none of these questions are personal, none of them are political. It's just trying to get a better understanding of what you guys are doing and to shine some light on whether you're being efficient and and whether you need proper funding or more funding. So anyway, we'll be right back after this break and stay tuned. She come back with bad news. That's kind of not the song, but she's tied to for BTC to be 10 years behind the cellular industry, they make more money. But you gotta hear people buying by the minutes, topping up. I've never heard of top up in my life when I've been living in the US. I've never heard of top up.
I just what I think about.
Seriously. My cell phone in the US right now is $25 a minute, $25 a month, unlimited everything. For $25.
Metro people. Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, and Metro. I think Metro is 20 now. You got 5 films coming out. We got 5 films, $120 a month, unlimited. And here they talking top up. Good morning, good morning. You know, I was just having a conversation, just drifting in the back of my head just now. Since we're talking about social service, I was thinking about this last night. And I was saying, it's almost depressing to say that. You know, you have Donald Trump, President of the United States, just bombed Syria 59 times. Alright? Tomahawk missiles from some cruiser destroyers over there in the Middle East. You got a U.S. aircraft carrier now is going into the Korean Sea. You have Russia on the brink of saying, listen, this is a no-no, we're going to shoot down every U.S. aircraft that enters this airspace, to include South Korea, North Korea, Russia, and Iran. And, the world could be on the brink of World War III. And we sit here in the Bahamas thinking we're isolated from what's happening in the world. And I can almost guarantee myself that this government and the last government and the future government don't have no plan whatsoever, a global plan or a contingency plan to say if something happens in the world or the U.S. get in the next war, what's our plan B, C, and D? How are we going to react? Or are we just going to wait to see who takes over the world and then hope we can make a deal and sell them some Kong salad or something? I mean, and these are real issues. But not even that. I brought that up to say that leaders should think about that, which they should. But yet we can't even take care of some of the fundamental issues in the Bahamas. Some of the most basic issues we can't take care of. And you really think that this government, the next government, would be able to handle a global crisis that would break out in the world? Because the government is sanctioned to provide life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and to keep you safe. The government's designed to keep the Bahamas safe from foreign and domestic enemies. Can they do that? Based on the politicking of the day, going to these rallies, which I think also a lot of them should come to the social service department after attending some of these rallies, because these guys are saying nothing. I mean, I was at a rally the other day over there by Christie Park, and this young girl got in an argument about something, picks up a rock the size of her head, running towards another lady to hit her in the head, and the police are standing right there. And one lady police drinking her water, she continues to drink the water while she runs away from the fight. And I'm like, do these people are they even scared of the police anymore? I don't think there's no deterrence. And I saw Stephen Dean, the commissioner, assistant commissioner, was there, and I told him, these people are not even scared anymore. For her to come with a rock to chop another woman, where you have the leader of the F&M leader was about 15 feet away from this whole incident, surrounded by khaki individuals, and this woman goes to chop another woman in the head. No fear of her wrongdoing, no fear that she's going to be arrested, no fear that she's going to go to jail, no fear. What is going on in this little town? And we got the social service lady in here, because she probably sees a lot of things on an everyday basis. I think the Bahamas has just went through a major reshifting, and I really think it's due to globalization, because the world is a smaller place with technology. All these things we're seeing on TV, constantly on Facebook, YouTube, I think has changed the mindset of Bahamians. And before we continue with you, what do you think about the mindset of the Bahamas right now? What do you think the mindset of young kids, young adults, teenagers? I mean, it's almost like a very mean and vicious cycle that's going on in this country. Not for everybody, but from the type of crimes we're seeing to the type of arrests to I was on the highway 2 weeks ago. 3 individuals, including 2 males and 1 female. She had a bottle in her hand, beating 1 male, and one guy goes and grab a rope, and like he was trying to put the rope around the guy's head to probably pull him on his truck off of the highway over there off of Harrow Road. So I'm like, again, drivers passing by had to stop their car, jump on their car to stop this fight. Like, no one has any more fear of the police, fear of anybody looking by, fear that someone might be recording this. What's your take on that?
Well, Dr. Tinker, everything starts and ends with the family.
Right.
And you have, these persons are just showing what they had or what they didn't have in terms of training in the home. And in the home is where you learn how to control yourself, how to discipline, how to be more disciplined. Parents teach their children how to control anger and how to deal with that. When you're in a particular situation, how you act, how to get along with other persons, you know, what are the do's and the don'ts of life, and how to get along. And if you don't have that in the home, then it just spills out. It just spills out.
Wow. So basically, it's almost something that they're adapting in the household and they're bringing it out. They're manifesting it in public.
Yes, because I'm certain that in your family you have rules. You have invested an enormous amount of energy into your children, so that when they come out of your home, they represent what you taught them and the values and whatnot that you passed on to them. Yes, there are things that young people will choose, but if they choose, it will be how I fix my hair and stuff like that. But the basic life and survival and whatnot, you would have passed on to them.
In the last 20, well, you've been doing this for 30-something years. In the last, let's go to the last 20. Has this job become more challenging?
Well, in terms of young persons and in terms of the chickens coming home to roost with the single parents, that we're seeing it now.
So if you look at, before we jump further, because we're going to talk about domestic violence, let's jump back to that conversation we had on the break talking about the stigmata and the Bahamians see these kids as being different. Do you think that plays a psychological role on these kids not being adopted or not getting adopted as fast enough? Because you don't have that much.
No, I wouldn't connect the two. Not in this particular conversation. Separately, you had asked me about the mindset of the community toward adoption, and I had said that the placement unit was the second placement that I had within the department, and I noticed the trend since then, and that was in the early 80s, where persons aren't accepting of children who are not related to them, and that is the main reason why foster program is basically non-existent.
Now, when you say non-existent to what? People adopting
non-existent
kids?
persons are not coming forward to say, I want to foster a child. If they come forward, they come to say, I would like to receive foster care allowance from the government on behalf of a relative of mine.
Okay.
Either it's my grandchild, or it's my niece, or it's somebody like that, somebody who's related to me by blood, but very rare. They would come in and say, well, I want to adopt a stranger. If they want to adopt a stranger, it's usually somebody who is young.
Right.
And what I have noticed, and it's a very disturbing trend, is that they want younger children particularly if the younger they are, I find that the persons who adopt have no intentions of telling these children that they are adopted. To me, that's a part of the psyche of non-acceptance.
Right. So they want almost like their own kid.
Yes.
Okay.
And if the child is older and then of course knows that they are not their parent,
Right.
then of course they can't get away with that. But I feel that we need a shift,
Right.
and it's just
So you're getting kids in the program that are just aging out. Then how old do you keep them?
very perceptive,
Right.
and it's true.
Wow.
The older they are, the chances of them being placed in a home.
Less.
Yes.
So they
And
how
they
how
age
old
out
do
of
you
the
keep them?
system until they're 18.
Until they're 18. Now, when they're released at 18,
Mhm.
do you just say, okay, 18, you gotta go?
No. Usually, there's somebody who has been expressing interest in
Okay.
them, who maybe they can't afford to do it at the time. The closer they get to what coming out of the system, we would ask those persons, could you reconsider? Could you find it a place in your home for them? And usually they're very good with that. They would take them. Or if we see that the child doesn't have any place else to go, we continue to work with the parent. We don't wait until 18 though.
Right.
We work with the parent and continue to work with them until they achieve an acceptable level of functioning to be able to take that child back. And once they're older, they can start to work and take care of themselves. So many of them return to their homes, or they go into the home of a mentor.
Now, when you say return to their homes, the homes that you actually took them from,
Yes.
why would they return? What would turn back
Don't
there?
forget now, we work with them.
Right.
We work with them. There are some that we just can't. Not everybody
Goes back.
Yes, not everybody goes back. And what we do is we prepare them. As a matter of fact, we prepare all of them for independent living.
Okay.
So that they eventually can live on their own.
Any examples of success stories?
Yes, we have some of the children who have gone to college. We have some of them. We have. Well, let me tell you, we have some persons in this society who are very caring, and you wouldn't be able to get a dollar out of them. But those children in the home, they are like putty in their hands, and they will just give them the world. They will help them to get on their feet. They will give them a job, and you have persons in this community like that.
Okay.
And so success stories are of children like that who have who don't have a home to go back to per se, and these persons reach out to them and help them.
Well, I would say, do you think it's positive that I wouldn't say it's positive that the adoption rate is low, but it's positive that you have a few kids available for adoption. You don't have this
Yes.
overwhelming majority
Yes.
of kids.
Yes.
Hey, come
That
take
is
my baby.
positive. That is
So
positive.
that's a positive thing.
That is positive.
So you could say society is taking care of the responsibility in
Yes.
a sense.
And one indication of that is abandonment is a form of child abuse.
Right.
And that's the lowest recorded numbers that we have, and it's because we have that sense of community. We care for our own now,
Right.
as long as your family,
Right.
but we need to reach out more
To get the ones that.
to get the ones who
Now,
are not related to us.
In your program here, how does it come when you deal with citizenship, immigrant versus
But in
Bahamian?
terms
Do you-
of our children now,
Yeah.
I am focused in on the children.
No, that's what I'm saying. In your
With the
care,
children?
yeah. Do you have a situation where a kid there? Do they have before you guys take him? Do you
No.
seek documents, or you just
no,
deal with
no,
them?
we just take in
You just
child.
you just take any child. Just want to
Let-
make a
let me
distinction.
let me expand on that too. We have some children who are from different nationalities who were abandoned, if their parents were deported or whatever. Some of them are too young to even remember. Some of them they have no status or whatever. But we try to work with Department of Immigration. We work with them and the minister to try to see whether or not they can get some status.
No, right? Any luck?
Well, yes, we do have some cases. I know one of particular case last year. One of the workers, she was working along with the Lord. She tried very hard and she did everything that was asked of her. She tried everything, and in the end, he did get status. And she
What-
was very happy.
You have these kids that would have been under your care for years, and you think it would be very fluid in your being in social services and contacting another government agency, say, look, hey, we had this kid, mother probably got deported or non-existent, we had him in our system now for 16 plus years. To release this kid with no status, no documents, isn't that almost a waste of
No, we
time?
try to do the best that we can. We try to do everything that we can within the law. In times past, it wasn't as difficult,
right,
but now, with the laws being more tightened,
right.
it's not as
But if it's a challenge in the law to make an adjustment of this kid that's illegal, then why social service would even deal with the kid? Because when the kid turned 18, now you have to release the kid into the Bahamas as undocumented.
No, we try to do the best we can with all of the children who come to us.
Mhm.
We try to get documents for them. We try to do everything that we
Right.
can.
I guess you don't want to create a dumping ground. Hey, go social service and pick up your papers.
No,
Try to
we,
avoid
and we
that.
don't have that situation.
Okay.
We don't have it.
Now, how does social service interact with the community? What are you guys are putting out there to get people to come to you if they need help? Are people ashamed to come to social service? Are you guys considered welfare?
Yes, we are considered welfare, and we have some persons who are proud, who
Proud and will not come.
and
proud
will
and
not
come.
proud and will not come.
Will not come,
Uh-huh.
even though they need it.
Yes, even though they need it, but I encourage persons, particularly ones who come to me, and they say, well, do you think I can qualify for assistance? And I say, well, were you working at any point?
Right.
And they said, yes, I worked for many years, and I just found myself in a bad situation. And
Do they come and sit in a black box and you guys speak to them like a Catholic priest and they're quiet
No.
and they're covered up?
No.
Look, yeah, I don't want nobody to see this, but
Well, some
I
of
need
them,
something.
some of them are embarrassed. Some of them
Right.
are embarrassed, but I try to take that away by saying that if you worked at some point that you did contribute toward this assistance that you are getting, and so you are, you have a right to come and
Oh, okay.
to ask for help.
so part of the pay goes to social services? That's a deduction?
No, everybody pays taxes.
Oh, yeah, okay,
Yes,
gotcha.
yes.
No, when you said that,
Yes.
I'm just thinking abroad.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So let's say, just give us an example on a woman that would come to apply and an example of what would she get if she
Okay.
comes and apply.
If she comes and applies, well, first of all, we're gonna ask her what her situation is.
Right.
We have various programs, and we would ask her what was it that she came for.
Mhm.
We assist persons with utility bills, light and water.
Now, when you assist them, so we can understand exactly what you're saying.
Yes.
You help them.
to
You
pay
assist them
to
by
pay
giving
up
them
to $600 of that bill.
up to 600.
Up to $600 of that bill.
For how long? Just that one time?
It's a one-time thing,
Now-
once a year.
Now, instead of you guys helping them to pay a big bill like that, there's no initiative say, okay, I'm calling from social service, let me call BPL. Based on this woman's financial situation and her kids, can we work out a reduced light bill program just to benefit this family?
No.
There's nothing like that
No,
exists.
there's nothing
And I'm
like
just
that.
giving you ideas because
Mhm.
abroad in the U.S.,
Mhm.
if someone goes to children and families, which will be your social services,
Mhm.
has programs with Florida Power and Light, which is the electric company, the light company, the light company, the water company, the phone company, even rental agencies
Yes.
that we're not giving it to you for free,
Mhm.
but your bill is reduced by 50%.
I
When
think
it-
all
where-
of us would take advantage of
Yeah,
that.
where it's not coming from the state, it's
Mhm.
coming from these companies
Mhm.
that want to give back. So they work hand in hand, have to be approved through social services, where you say, okay, we're gonna put this family on a 3-month program.
Mhm.
Based on that 3-month voucher, you then take this voucher to your light company, your water company, even internet.
Mhm.
Because over there they believe, because all the kids' work now are derived online. So you have internet providers in the U.S. that gives free internet or reduced internet costs, like $10 a month, to families that fall in a qualification that they're getting social service benefits. So the burden is not always on the government. The burden, not really the burden, but you have corporations out there want to help out. Instead of giving money, we're going to help out by reducing your light, reducing your
that's a good
internet,
idea.
reducing your phone, reducing your water. Because at the end, you had to pay for this anyhow.
It's a good idea.
So it's money, but it's indirect.
Yeah, but
Because
then,
who knows what, who knows what they, you give them these things and what they're going to do with it. But go ahead and continue to tell us about the
but
example.
you have some situations where they're not working,
Right,
and so a reduction really wouldn't help.
right.
And getting assistance is dependent on a whole lot of factors.
Right.
Now another program that we have rent assistance, we have financial assistance, we have food assistance, which is the biggest program.
The food assistance?
The food assistance.
When you say big, how big?
Well,
Just a percentage of the population.
well, no, I can't tell you. I don't know, but I know that's our
Confidential?
biggest program. No, it's not.
Classified?
No. You can get that information.
Okay, all right.
You can get that information.
And
it's just
food
that I don't work
assistant-
in that area, and so I
Food
come with those
assistance
figures.
derives from what? From what to what amount? Zero to what?
No, it starts from I think $84 to $194
A month?
a month.
A week?
Per month.
84.
Or you're not going to be dependent on the government.
Right.
You're not going to live off the government.
Right.
Someone was just telling me the other day, how the assistance is so limited,
Right.
but you're not going to be able to live off the government.
Right.
If anybody has that in mind, no, it's not going to happen.
Under social services, do you have a plan designed for kids between the year of 1 and 5 where the government's ensuring that these kids from 1 to 5 get the nutrition that they need if the
Well,
family can't afford it?
Remember you were talking about the RISE program?
Right, that's okay. Let's
yes.
explain, tell us about the RISE
Okay,
program and
what
is RISE?
Well, the RISE program seeks to empower families,
Mhm.
seeks to increase the human capital, the capacity, and all of that, so that you have healthy children. You have children doing well in school, staying in school. You have children who are properly immunized. You have parents who are encouraged to do that, so that the children stay in school, they maintain a certain GPA and whatnot, so that at the end of that period you have a productive person coming out of high school to be able to contribute positively to society, and not just academically, but also they're healthy because Ministry of Health is involved. They're encouraging proper nutrition. They're encouraging proper immunization, proper medical care, and all of that. And so it's geared at the household. It's geared at the parents to be able to do the best they could with their children, and paying them for it.
Right,
as
yeah, it's
an
incentivized.
incentive,
Yeah, it's
yes,
incentivized. I
as
see
an
it.
incentive, so that you just have the best human capital after the exercise.
How long has this program been going on?
Well, it's something that's just been introduced.
Just a recent?
It's something that's recent.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this is this current government initiative.
Yes.
This was brought upon by people in your department, or some guy from another country said, hey, check this program out?
Well, the Minister of Social Services and Community Development, Mrs. Melanie Cook, and she's very passionate
About this?
about that and about helping persons. Of course, she felt, and she always talks about it, of how in the past persons would have to go on long lines, and also even if they were receiving assistance and whatnot, they remained in the same condition.
Right.
So this was one of the things that one of the programs that she came up with, to be able to give dignity to people, and also to be able to help homes, help the parents, help the children, just look at the entire family holistically, to be able to have a positive contribution.
And this RISE
society.
program is how long is the program? If someone would start the program? 6 months, a year?
No, I'm not certain, not too certain about that. Just, I know the basics about it.
Yeah, I met a lady from I think it was Peru or Ecuador on my flight back, and she's one of the consultants on this RISE program, and I guess everything is cash incentive. If you're pregnant and you get a checkup every month, it's $50, according to what she was saying. Child below 5 years old is $50. child.
This is in Peru.
Huh?
This is in Peru.
It's just what you guys are doing here is what you said.
Oh, okay.
But the consultant was from Peru. She was giving me the breakdown on what they're doing. I guess she said child 6 to 19, education, graduate, you get money. The objective is to elevate poverty. It's a short term fix, but you benefit in the long run, like you said, if these kids
Yeah.
are healthy and they're graduating. It's something very similar to a program U.S. called WIC, Wellness something. I can't remember the breakdown, but what they do, if a parent, male or female, comes to the social service program, based on their income, they will be evaluated based on their income, and if they are approved, which they have to apply every year, the USDA, United States Department of Drug and Agriculture, something like that, USDA, basically provides the food per kid for 5 years. So they get vouchers, which would cover all the things that they need in nutrition. Milk, eggs, cereal, fruits and vegetables, everything that make that kid healthy, because it's a short-term solution to a long-term fix. So they ensure that the kids, based on the income of your parents, will be taken care of, even if the parents are whatless or they're just broke, but they're going to give the money for the kid. This is not food for adults. It's all kid generated. Also to provide the baby formula. So from the time your kid's born, if you can't afford it, you go and you apply for this WIC, all the formulas are taken care of. And then if you qualify to get the insurance, the baby gets insurance. Now this has no direct benefit to the parent. Everything is for this kid. And you get it up until you're 5 years old, because they want to ensure a healthy society. But we have to take another break, and we'll come back and we'll shift into domestic violence. But
11:20.
Yeah.
Any?
Yeah. Morning and welcome back to Real Talk Live. Hey, just forgot to just let you know you can definitely call in and join into the show if you guys have some questions for my guests here on social services. So you can call in on 341-6673. So at any rate, let's talk about the domestic violence and child abuse. Go ahead and tell us about how your department deals with stuff like that.
Well, once we receive a report that a child is being abused, or even somebody suspects that a child is being abused, then of course we investigate. It doesn't have to be a substantiated report. Like I said, if you just suspect that a child is being abused, we will investigate. And definitely, if everything is okay, we will monitor it for a while. We'll close the case if there's no evidence to suggest that a child is being abused. If, on the other hand, a child is being abused, definitely we're going to try to find out what the source is, try to assist as much as we can. We realize that, of course, the children aren't abusing themselves. Some parents, some caregiver, some adult. We're going to try to see as much as we can to become involved in that situation, mitigate it, eliminate, bring to a place of acceptable function where the child can be safe in that environment.
I mean, as I monitor the newspapers, you know, whether it's the Guardian or the Tribune, I've just seen so much crazy cases of child abuse, especially with these older individuals raping kids as young as 5, and a lot of. How has the trend of child abuse have changed over the last 20 years?
I don't know if it has changed so much as persons are reporting more. That could be a factor.
Oh, you think they're just reporting more?
Persons are reporting more. They are more aware of where they can receive help. We are always advertising hotlines. And let me take this opportunity to just tell you what those hotlines are. 422-2763 or 322-2763. And it's a 24-hour service. So you can always call and let us know.
You think this
what the situation is.
Child abuse here and the stigma of being messed with as a young kid, people are just embarrassed of that?
Well, that could be
Isn't one of the reasons
things.
why they don't report it as often?
Yes, well, people have a whole lot of reasons. It could be fair also. Some persons might not even know that they're being abused. They might feel that something like that is normal.
Right.
Because some persons, they don't recognize what has happened to them until they go around other persons and they say, well, doesn't your father do that to you? And that's a normal thing in my house.
Right.
So it could be a whole lot of factors.
What's the age of consent here?
The age of consent is 16.
And 16 means that you could.
16 means that you can give consent to have sexual intercourse.
And from 16 doesn't matter how old the fellow is. Once you turn 16.
Yeah, once you're 16.
Okay.
You can give consent.
And I guess what's the trend of a 15-year-old involved with someone that's 16?
Well,
Just to narrow it down, though. I mean, what type of cases would these cases come to you if a parent say, hey, this older guy's having sex with my 15-year-old
yes, they do come to us.
Okay.
Particularly, we have a section, school welfare. Of course, they're students.
Mm-hmm.
And we see a trend where, I don't know if you realize that girls that age don't really like guys their age.
Right.
They look at them as nerdy and weird, and guys that age, they're really not that interested in girls like that.
Right.
And so you have these girls involved with these older men. And something that's very disturbing in the Bahamian context is it's something that sometimes the parents encourage.
Right.
And it's commercial sexual exploitation of children.
And you would say that because they're getting some financial reward
Yes,
helping the
they're
household?
getting cash or in kind.
Wow.
Where the person is older and working, and they're helping to pay the rent or pay the school fees or lunch or buying clothes or shoes or whatever, helping to pay the bills.
Wow.
And some mothers encourage that.
And
we see nothing wrong with it.
right, they see nothing wrong with it.
See nothing
Wow.
wrong with it.
Now, if you have a
it's
situation like
wrong.
that when this has been going on for a while and then all of a sudden there's a falling out and someone get mad and the guy say, listen man, I've been messing with this girl now for more than a year and she only got mad because of something.
But
You still prosecute the individual?
it's still wrong.
Still wrong.
It's still wrong, and it's against the law.
Now, do you, if something like that happened, do you keep the child in that home or you take the kid out of the home?
Well, every case is dealt with on a case-by-case basis.
Right.
Because it could be a situation where the mother had no idea that something
Right.
like that was going on.
Right.
And so, would you're gonna deal with that different
Right.
than a mother who encourages something like that.
Right.
But a lot of things you know, that mother might have had a situation where she was brought up like that.
Right.
And she was forced to survive whichever way she could.
Right.
And so she saw nothing wrong with it, and you know, and so a lot has to do with education.
How is domestic violence among partners? Is it well, you know, is it consensual just to beat up your woman, or what was the deal with that?
No, I think that's something that hits a raw nerve with everybody. But if you have a situation where a guy believes that it's okay to just tap up a woman whenever she makes him angry.
So what do you mean by tap up? I thought you said
Slap
top
her
up.
up.
Oh, slap up.
Slap
Slap.
her
Okay,
up.
all right.
Push her, you know, whatever it is,
Mhm.
punch her, whatever it is, to show his force and aggression toward her. Particularly in homes where he has seen that with the mother's partner or with his father, the chances of him being an abuser is very, very high.
Right.
Now the unit that I had and that the department has just established, it was just established in 2014, and so it's a relatively new unit, and so we don't have as many persons coming into us, and so we don't have as many cases. But the cases that we do have, of course, it's partner. The highest incidence of the cases that we have, the reports, involve partner abuse.
Who's beating who? The man's beating the woman, or the woman beating the man?
Mainly the man. is
Mainly the man beating up the woman.
Yes, but we do have cases where
the woman tearing up the man.
The woman beats the man. But, you know, like they said, the man isn't going to report that.
Right. Well, he ain't report. He just get your woman just slap him because he ain't bring the
Yeah.
check on time.
Yeah.
Hey, what this check is? Ow!
You know,
Hey, we have any
some are
special
vehement
effects to that?
women- Some are vehement women biggity.
Biggity, eh?
But that's just as wrong as if the man does it.
And what's the penalty under the law for that? For domestic violence, is there a charge?
Well, no, I
You
know
don't
that
have a
there
charge?
is, and I know that you can get jail time for it.
Right. Right.
You know, and you can also be fined for it.
Right.
But
Do you have safe houses for men that get beat up by the women and
yes,
women that get beat up?
and for women, we do have safe houses.
So you have safe houses that the men are going to in the Bahamas?
Well, no, the men don't.
The man they ain't going.
No.
You can
They're
just
not
toughen that out.
The men aren't coming forward.
They ain't coming
But
forward.
you do have
Man, if you're
defense.
out there and your girl is beating you behind, please, you could come forward. Do you have a number for them to call these guys that are getting beat up?
Yes, the same numbers that I gave you, because it's not just a child abuse hotline,
Right.
it's a crisis
Crisis
hotline.
hotline.
Yes.
Well, just give that number again. If you're any men out there that are getting beat up, and women that are getting beat up, or both of you are getting beat up by each other, if you're hitting each other, call this number. We got a shelter for you. And if you're a man getting beat up, make sure you call. And if you're a woman, you call also. And but if you're fighting each other too, you just call. Because we got a place for you.
The numbers are 422-2763 and 322-2763, and the domestic violence hotline is 376-9304.
And what's the reason for some of these situations and why these people are beating up each other?
Well,
Did they say it?
inability to control anger.
Inability to control anger. But what
Inability to
sparks it?
control
That
anger.
hey, you ate the last piece of pork chop, you didn't pay the bill. What was it?
Well, you will find that a person in a domestic violence situation
Right.
and an abuser, that's something that's going on inside of him.
No matter even if he ate the last piece of pork chop.
No, and you wouldn't have to do that person anything.
Because I saw one in the States the other day, I think the woman shot her husband because I think she either ate the Kool-Aid or something stupid.
Mhm.
Just shot him. Man, you drink all the Kool-Aid. You know, so
But,
like
and you see something like that is very unreasonable.
right.
So it's a cycle,
But
and it's a cycle that builds,
You know,
anger that builds up.
domestic violence in the U.S. has become the penalty for it is very severe. I mean, all you could do is just look at your woman too hard or your man too hard, and somebody calls the cops and the police comes and there's no discretion in the arrest. It will make an arrest. And at that point, you're charged with domestic violence. You're arrested. You got to go to court. And let me tell you the downside of that. One, you could never own a weapon. Probably could never be a cop. You're gonna have a hard time going into the military. Hard time getting a job. It's almost like shooting somebody. That's how
Well-
that's how stiff they make domestic violence.
And that's how serious
policies.
it is.
It's quite serious.
That's how serious it is.
But it carries a lifetime effect because it haunts you.
Mhm.
It follows behind you.
And I think that you'll think a million times before you do anything.
But some of them, some situations you want to walk away, but the man could be right in your face, tempting you. You just want to slap the man out of your face, or the woman's in your face, just tempting you. Want to slap her. So, Laureen Duvalier, what do you do when you're getting hot and you want to slap your partner?
Then you take your hands and then you fold them up and you put them in your lap.
And do what? Stay there and why the woman's screaming or the guy's
You
making
better.
noise?
You better.
But what about just leaving?
That's a good idea too.
Yeah, just leave.
That's a good idea.
And what if she comes to the front door, he comes to the door blocking you from leaving? What do you do then?
Yeah, you better do the best thing and you better get out of there even if she calls you a sissy.
But what if you call the police? Could you call the police?
Of course you can.
But they take so long to come.
That's okay.
So
But you
you,
continue to call.
I just call the police. I'll be
911.
listen, ma'am, stay on the phone. She's blocking the door. He's blocking the door. Could I use the necessary force to get out of the way? I want to keep you on the line as a witness.
My dear, self-control.
Self-control. Let me tell you
Self-control.
something. It's very difficult
Self-control.
sometimes to have that
Self-control.
self-control because you got some of these women. They tempt you, and some of the men tempt.
But nobody can make you do anything, Dr. Tinker.
It's the tempt.
Nobody. Nobody.
You're a religious lady. Satan tempt Eve to bite the apple, and then she tempt her husband to bite the thing. So you guys started this temptation.
Doc,
And I'm not even religious.
Doc,
Well, that was just a joke.
Doc, you better do the best you could. You better do the best
So
you
do
could.
the best you could.
Yes, because nobody could make you do
Wow.
it. Nobody could make you do it.
So when the guy calls you and said, "My woman's beating me up," how do you deal with that?
Well, as the name implies, it's a domestic violence and counseling unit. We have counseling for families, and we bring them together. We go through all the steps.
Right.
We're trying to help.
What is what's the definition of domestic violence under your?
Well,
How do you guys define domestic violence?
Well, domestic violence, of course, it's the physical side of it. Pushing, aggression,
Between who?
between partners, and also children are involved as well.
Children can get charged with domestic violence.
No. The domestic violence is geared toward you would have aggressive partner who would take their anger and whatnot out on those
Well,
children
wouldn't
as
that
well
just
in
be
the home.
abuse and battery on the kid?
Yes, but of course, domestic violence is a form
Okay.
of child abuse.
Now
Then
you-
you have
Now you use partner,
yes,
so that means two man, two woman,
yes, it could be two men and two women.
woman and a man,
A woman and a man.
a woman and a she,
In a-
he,
in a-
any
in a-
combination.
yes, in a relationship.
Okay.
And then you have the verbal aspect of it, where
Mhm.
they verbally abuse the person, call them names and whatnot. And then of course, there's the emotional side of it. They
Right.
put the person down. The financial aspect of it, they could withhold finances from that person, manipulate a situation in any way that they can, financially, emotionally, whatever,
Re-
in order to control that person.
Recently in Freeport, there was an incident. When I saw what the paper said, that a reserve officer was shot in the head by a partner, which was a woman.
Yeah.
What's the trend now of these homosexual and relationships? It seems like it's becoming very prevalent in the Bahamas.
Well, I would say it's a trend.
It looks like a trend because out in the open, they're just in the open now.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing wrong with being in the open. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
because it's a free
I've never
country.
seen it that much.
It's a free country.
When I was at McDonald's the other day downtown, I think a couple of years ago, a buddy of mine, we were down here and two guys walked in the store and they're all, pretty feminine type. And, hey, just took his hand and put it in my buddy's ear. Oh, I love your hair. And he's on. It's like, hey. Take it easy, Mr. Colorful. So it seems to be very. It's not. I would say trendy, but it's. I've never seen it like this before. Nothing's wrong with
No,
this.
we
You're finally
we
out of the
are-
closet. It's
yeah,
all right.
We are
I've
more
never
open.
seen the closet so wide open before.
We
The doors
are
have
more
fallen off
open.
the hinge. The closet's all the way open.
We are more open, but consenting adults, if that's what
But-
they choose to do.
But in social service, do you think there's something? All of a sudden now it's all. I've seen young kids. I mean, why all of a sudden now in the last 10 years? Why?
No, I can't answer
No,
that.
from your experience.
Yeah, I can't answer that, but I know that.
You think
we-
just society? It's
yeah,
TV.
We are becoming more liberal.
More liberal.
We're more liberal. As
With
a
all these
society,
churches.
With all our churches, and we.
I think
we
they
are
should put a
Christian
moratorium
society.
on churches because society just became too liberal. Let's see
No.
what the church is doing.
No, the church is doing its part.
The church is doing its part.
Yeah, the church is.
Because
doing
I
its
seen
part.
dancing preachers, singing bishops. Like, what's going on?
Well, people just express themselves differently.
Wow. So, I mean, is this Nassau centric or is this the Bahamas? You think the Family Islands are a little more conservative?
Yes, in the family islands, they are more conservative.
You don't
They
see
are more
this. You don't see
conservative.
what you're seeing in Nassau elsewhere.
Well, you have your one or two cases,
Mhm.
and that's because they don't have as many people too.
Mhm.
But we're more diverse here. We're just multicultural, and we just have a whole lot of influences. Persons have gone abroad. They don't want to be. They just want to express themselves. And it's a free country.
It's
People have their choice, and I think that you have to respect that.
Oh yeah. Listen,
You may
I-
not agree.
Yeah, just don't
But
put
you
your
have
hand in
to
my hair. I mean,
respect.
do whatever you want. You know.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But it's coming from the when you look. I
That's
mean,
why you have on this cafe.
yeah, try to just friendlies. Like in the military. When you say someone friendly, that means that person's on your side. But a couple of friendlies out there.
No, but
Couple of colorful.
It's a free country now. When you cross the line, is once you start abusing children.
Yeah,
You
it's
do
just.
things to people against their will. In terms of, nobody has the right to beat up another person. Nobody has the right to take your life just because,
Right.
of your jealousy or whatever.
Society is free. Just that the Bahamas has changed rapidly in a short space of
I
time.
know, it was
I'm just saying.
happening. It was happening, and nothing happened to it.
But if you look, if you carve 10 years off from today, I think murder was down about 30%.
Yeah,
I think-
but it's more. We have more people here now, and
Yeah.
as I said, it starts and ends with the family.
Starts and ends with the family. Do you think money has anything to do with all this anger? The lack of money, the lack of opportunity?
Well,
We're about to take this break for minute.
those are two factors.
Those are two factors?
Okay,
Yeah.
those are two factors. Because you know that, of course, you need money to be able to live,
Right.
and you have to go out to work. And remember, we are very aware that the single parent family is
The
majority
largest.
of cases.
And you have all
And-
these
and you
churches,
have
but
to
you have
work.
so much single family. All these churches and all the single families. Is there a correlation between a bunch of churches and a bunch of single women?
No.
Or sweethearting is allowed here? Is this sweethearting is the thing here or what? People just like to have a baby mama on the side or a couple of baby mamas?
I don't know. I don't know what the reason is.
Yeah.
The rate is so high.
Maybe it's people.
But it's a free country.
How do you guys reach out to these women and say, listen, you could go and do what you want, but why make the baby?
Well, I think that all of the social partners, all of the interministerial partners, we all try to do our part. Telling persons to act responsibly, to use birth control, the children aren't responsible. Just take care of as many children as you can afford. Make sure that you're working. Make sure that you are making the money to be able to take care of them. But in the end, it's the person's choice.
Right, because this is not a Catholic country, so you're not you're not really anti-birth control, because this is not really a predominantly Catholic country.
You have some Catholic countries.
Yeah.
You have some Catholic persons here who are against that. you know, but they also have their own way of birth control too, which is
So,
abstinence.
do you have a fish tank of condoms at the social service where people just can come and take them?
No, we don't have that.
You don't give
Yeah,
out free
but-
condoms?
No, but the Ministry of Health.
Give out free condoms?
Yeah, they give them out.
Where are the condoms at? What locations? I
don't
want
work
to let the
for
people
Ministry
know
of
where are the
Health.
condoms at. Slow.
I don't work for Ministry of Health.
We're gonna have some free condoms here on More 94. I'm gonna call the Ministry of
Dr.
Health.
Tinker,
Come down and
you're
get your
gonna
condom
me in trouble.
if you're feeling a little risky, and he's begging you for it. Come down and get some free Well, we ain't got them yet, but we're gonna be ordering some condoms, and we gotta stop this thing. We'll be right back.
You need to laugh at them.
Live radio having some side blurbs talking about whatless fathers. You know, we were introduced to that terminology. We have a call on the line? You want to put the headphones on? Let's see who's calling us. Maybe this is someone from, which one's plugged in? Morning, caller, you live? I got no volume on this thing. I'll just give us the volume in here. Go ahead, caller.
Good morning.
Hey, what's happening?
Good morning, Mrs. Devolier.
Good morning.
Professor Thinker to Ms. Devolier.
Yes.
Hopefully she can answer as to why social services, when you're considered to be below, slightly above the poverty line, that there is no assistance being rendered from social services to the parties involved.
If you're slightly above or slightly below?
No, if you're above, then
you
then you can take
fail
care
the
of yourself.
requirement.
Yes.
Yeah, but you need assistance.
No, but then you would not have proven that. You would have proven the contrary.
Pardon me?
So you would have proven to the contrary because it's a means test where expenses versus income, and if you can show that your income is more than your expenses, then you don't qualify.
Absolutely not, but yet social services want to come in and tell you what to do.
Well, I don't know to what you're referring.
You know what I'm saying? And the other thing, Mrs. Devolier, the Sexual Offenders Registry Act, when will that be implemented?
Well, the Sexual Offenses Registry is under Ministry of National Security, and I know that they have been working on it, but it isn't directly operated by the Department of Social Services.
I see. All right, I thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, so that was the borderline question. I guess if you don't qualify, you don't qualify. You don't have another gray area.
No.
You
it's
qualify
very
or you don't
clear.
qualify.
Yes.
And what's the threshold?
When you say that, what do you mean?
What's the amount you have to make below to get approved?
Well, for you to be approved, definitely your bills have to be really, really substantial.
No, so there's no base
there's
income?
no amount.
So you
no.
just fall behind on your bills and you approve.
And mine, I need to also mention that you have some persons who are working and their bills are so overwhelming that, what they're bringing in.
You guys help out?
Yes, we will help.
So if you're working and your bills are overwhelmed, isn't that a responsibility issue?
That too, but then if you have a lot of children, and then children come with expenses and whatnot.
If you have a lot of children, that's
Yes.
another
And sometimes,
responsibility
no,
issue
you
too.
don't even have to have a lot of children because the cost of living is high. You may just have one child, but then your
Right.
income is just so low you can't support that child adequately.
And in most cases, the father's not around.
No, I can't say that.
No, I'm saying in the cases that you're giving this money, is the
Yes.
baby daddy around?
Well, some of them, they are around, but some of them, they would give limited income.
Do you guys go after the baby daddies?
Well, we ask the mother to go after the father by putting him in court.
And so you got to take him to court to get some money.
Yes.
What they need to do with these whatless baby daddies, do you guys go after mothers
In terms
for child
of,
support?
well, yes, the law now allows for that.
Right, because you got a man to take care of the
Mhm.
baby and the mother around
Yes,
here playing
the law
around.
allows for that. The Child Protection Act
Right.
says that anybody who has responsibility
Right.
for children, yes, you can take that person to court. As a
Let's
matter
talk
of
about the whatless fathers.
Well,
Let's talk about the wordless fathers. Now let's have the
use
conversation.
a kind of term.
It's no kind of term.
Let's
If you didn't go
use-
to child services, pick up the condoms and do what
Let's
you got to
use
do.
a less harsh term.
That's harsh.
Let's-
That's a song.
well, you have some persons. I know we had a
How do you
situation.
define fathers that don't take care of the kids? Do you have any degree of definition?
Well,
Whatless, not so whatless,
no,
okay.
A case by case. you have some fathers who absolutely will not do anything.
And what would you call that father? Why
I'd-
you even
I'd-
call
I'd
him father?
say- I'd say
Why you
I'm
even
not-
call
I'm
him
not
father? He's just a
considered
donor.
father.
At that point, you're a donor.
It's such a strong word.
You're a donor. At that, I
Not to
mean,
take
you
that
call a
such
father
a
that don't
strong
do anything.
word.
Why are you calling this dude a father? I think
but-
he's a donor.
But
For the sake of
no, case by case. You have
Oh,
to
so
look
you guys
at
gonna be
every
a-
situation
Okay.
case by case.
So
You
you'll
have-
define them based on the case by case.
No, let's say you have a situation there. I know there's a particular case that we had where the salary of the dad was just maxed out.
But what
He
that
was
have to do
taking
with making a
care
baby?
of 2 homes, and
Oh,
and
take
all of
care,
that.
he's a player.
And no, he was doing what he could for this child, but the mother wanted more money.
Right.
But he just couldn't afford
He
it.
couldn't afford
but
it.
he was doing what he could.
Right.
I can't call him worthless.
Let me
But you
let
do
me
have
give you the
some.
whatless definition. Let me
Okay,
just help
okay,
you with this
okay.
definition. Let me
Yes,
just help
sir.
you. If you had the child, the state should not be concerned about your finances. The burden of this child is on you.
Yeah.
On whatever the state deems that you should pay, whether it's half of the child expenses and the woman pays the other half, you pay your side.
I agree.
Man, I ain't
It's-
got it
no,
this
no,
month.
I
ain't
agree.
got it this month.
I
Man,
agree.
check me next week. Nobody
No.
want to hear that.
No, I agree.
Whatless.
I agree.
Now,
and
now.
mine some responsibility falls on the woman too. No?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you're gonna get out the worthless definition if you give your contribution financially and you're spending some time with the kid. Now you have some whatless women out there that want to give the whatless guy a hard time, who wants to get out of the worthless category to be a regular father, and the woman said, well, you don't see these kids if you don't see me. Or you don't coming around here, or what they try to keep the child away as a punishment to the father. Then the father just get angry or just get aggravated and just give up.
Yeah,
Have
but
you seen
it
situations
goes
like that?
both ways too.
You seen
Because
situations like that?
We have a situation in the Bahamas where a guy, if he's not in a relationship with you, he ain't giving you nothing.
That's so that all right. So that's another category. He can
Yes.
go in the worthless category. So you have the guy that
Which
don't
is
want
such
to
a
because he
strong
ain't with
word.
the woman sexually anymore. That means he's not going to take care of the baby either.
And it's very sad. 'cause
Are you
the child
guys?
suffers.
Are you jailing these fathers, or it's tough to jail them?
Well, I know that the mother's taken to court, and social services doesn't jail anybody.
You don't give
recommend
anybody in jail.
anybody for jail.
You don't put nobody in jail, and you don't give
No,
anybody
no,
condoms.
but
What
we-
y'all doing
but-
over there? No jail time and no condoms.
But we,
But you're giving them
we
money.
encourage them to go to court, and then the court makes a decision. The court makes a decision.
So, could you tell these guys, or these, because let me tell you what I've realized since I've been coming back. I would have left in around 92. At that time, going downtown was like a field trip in the 90s and the 80s. And what I see downtown today, I see young teenagers, people under the age of consent, downtown partying. You just had a situation the other day where a 13-year-old and 50-year-old was shot, and for some reason, a day had passed before they were even considered missing. I've seen at a domino table. I went to a place in South Beach all the way to the end where they play dominoes. I don't know if you guys know about this place. You had a 13-year-old, a 60-year-old, a 25-year-old, and a 30-year-old. The 13-year-old cussing the 60-year-old out, and the 60-year-old cussing the 13-year-old out at the same table. You have roughly almost 3 generations sitting at one table, and everybody cussing. Back in the 90s and 80s, that never existed. That's why I'm showing you this trend, how the society has changed. You go downtown. I don't know why all the little kids like to go downtown. What's so popular about going downtown? Go home after school is out. Go home. What are you going downtown
They go to catch the
for?
bus. I can't see what is downtown,
What-
because
yeah,
I
what's
thought they
downtown?
just hung around at the malls. To me, downtown is a ghost town.
It's a ghost town now. But,
So
but it seems like
I don't know what's downtown.
But
I
it-
haven't heard of too
but-
many persons going down there. I know they go to
And
the
when I-
malls, and I know they have fights, and they have all sorts of stuff
and
at
then
the malls.
how you guys are handling the psyche of the stabbings in the schools. What make a young kid bring a dinosaur knife to school?
Well, a lot of stuff. One could be bullying.
Huh?
He could be bullied.
But
and
that-
then you have the gangs.
But not even at the
and-
point of the bully. What's more sickening is to hear the little girls and the little people around the situation. Hee, boy, you see that? Boy, he jumping
Yeah.
right up and mother sick for you.
Yeah.
You get that? You recording that?
Yeah.
That is more disturbing than the actual incident.
Yeah. It's
And that
sad.
plays into
Yeah.
where the country going.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
We have a lot of work to do. We do have a lot of work to do.
Now, I was saying that the classroom hot, they hungry and they full of gas, but this is a little more complicated than a hot classroom and food.
Yes, and social media too has a whole lot to do with it, because you know that they're always on their phones, and it seems as if after seeing one thing after the other, it really takes a lot to excite them.
Right.
And to me, that's a part of now modern society.
Are you guys getting the support you need to be getting there in social services?
Well, you can always.
You can always ask for more.
You can always ask for more.
Do you think you guys are underfunded?
Definitely. Who wouldn't like to have a big budget? Who wouldn't like to have all of the programs that they would want?
What program do you want?
Well, more centered toward young persons.
Right.
Also, with anger management, more programs to help with troubled teens.
You think the food the kids are eating is making them crazy? All the hormones in the chicken or something?
Well, a lot of it has to do with absent parents.
Absent parents.
Yeah, and a lot of them are raising themselves.
Right. And then you have situations where the parent, the child is 13 and the parent is 20 something. Young parent. Do you think that's based on the overcrowding of Nassau? All these different people leaving the family island coming to Nassau, because Nassau's like New York City for the Bahamas.
That's one of them. That's one of the things, and then they don't have the support that they used to have at times gone by. Like
Right.
you said, 10 years ago, would not you have the extended family?
How's the relationship with the school? Your guys in the school, your department in the
Yes,
schools.
we have a school welfare division.
Not welfare, but the counseling method of going to schools. Do they give sex education in school here or no?
Yes, they do have sex education. The guidance counselors,
Okay.
they work very closely because
Right.
we have a social worker in every school, and they work very closely with the guidance counselors.
Are they promoting safe sex?
Well, I'm certain that they are. I'm certain that they invite the nurses to come
Uh-huh.
in, and as a matter of fact, I think all of the schools have nurses attached to them because you have school health, and I'm certain that they encourage them to act responsibly
So-
in the family life section of their curriculum.
So we're winding down on time here. I mean, what's the main message you want to get out to this forever changing population?
Well, we have spoken at length, but we didn't talk about the theme for Child Protection Month, and the main message that we want to give out is based around that theme, which is building community, building hope, and that in itself says a whole lot.
And how could you do this?
Well, we can
What's the
build
ingredients
community.
that you
Well,
recommend?
definitely we have to go back to where we were,
Right.
because in the short time that we have spoken, I have detected how you lament how we have changed
Right.
and how we used to be a certain way.
So you believe that
We have
going
to get
back to the
there,
child
to the
raising the
good part-
village,
Good part.
you
yes.
think you can go back to that?
Well,
There's,
we have-
there's no going back.
but we can try.
You could try, but you never go back.
Yeah, we can try, and we can try to do the best that we can.
Right.
That's the only way.
I think it's having. I think what's going to help us in the long run is the fact of the accountability for everyone's actions
Yeah.
and the enforcement of laws and order
Oh, definitely.
and education in the long term is going to help. But the child raising the village is gone. That's history.
But that's where the churches come in.
The churches like to talk about that because it's
Mhm.
easier said than done. You see, when you
Well,
say
but we have to try.
yeah, you can try, but when you say let the child raise the village, that's a non-fixed solution. You're putting everything on people that are burdened with low-paying jobs, unemployed, social issues in the home, and you're telling them solve their own problems,
Mhm.
and you're taking all the burden of the government
Mhm.
to fix these social ills in society.
No, it's everybody working together.
Exactly.
We have to.
So the I say in the case of the village, raising the child is almost to the point of now the child in the village is a terrorist, and the village is running from the terroristic child because most of the crime that's happening are pretty young people terrorizing their own neighborhoods. So you really think the people in the village can come out when they hear someone shooting? Come, child, let me
Gotta
raise
give
you.
them some hope, Dr. Tinker.
Boy,
Gotta give some hope.
with
We have to
you
give
need to
some
take cover when you hear the bullets flying, and then pray about hope the next day. But I think we have a lot of work to do overall. Well, listen, it was nice having you here, and we definitely have to do this again.
hope.
And sometimes I think too, is whatever's burning in that dump is sending half of us crazy. It's that smoke from the dump. Because when I came in the other day, it drove me. I almost had a headache. I don't even know how people are breathing in that garbage over there. But at any rate, Real Talk Live is brought to you today by Super Wash, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Burger King, the Air Conditioning Depot, PTC, National Workers Cooperative Credit Union, Virgo Car Rental, Water and Sewage Corporation, Storm Frame Windows, Bayman Brewery Company Limited, Wendy's, Marco's Pizza, Popeyes, Paisley Cosmetics. Experience a Paisley difference. Listen, stay tuned for us. Tomorrow we're going to have former Deputy Prime Minister Brent Simonet and the current candidate for the FNM, ratified candidate for the FNM on the show. And to close this out again, where could they get those condoms?
I don't know.
You don't know? I'm going to buy some condoms and leave them here at 94.9, fellas. Don't fall into the whatless category of being a whatless dad. More 94 is going to give you some condoms. Have a good day.